I'm betting every single one of you have a problem like this. A junk drawer full of phones and no idea what to do with them. Today, we're going to take one of these and turn them into this, an art piece, without spending $300 like this one cost. And maybe we'll start with this one, because if I don't do something about it soon, it's going to explode. I decided to start with this phone, the Galaxy S8, mostly because I know it's going to explode sometime soon. Now when I say explode, I don't mean a great big huge explosion, my whole house is going to be burned down, but something kind of dangerous. The battery in here is expanding and expanding, and someday it will light on fire and there will be an issue. I should do something about it soon. I don't want to recycle the whole phone because there's no point to that. The Galaxy S8 is so old, there aren't really parts for it anymore, and the recyclers won't get much use out of it. So I might as well do something good with it, like turn it into an art piece. This comes from Grid Studio, and it's the original Android phone, the G1 from T-Mobile. They've taken it apart and displayed it nicely and shown you what all the part pieces are. I think we can do something just like it without spending much money. I could make the frame, but I think I'm going to buy one just to keep this project simple. But this will be my general guide. The first step is, of course, taking the phone apart, and we're going to want to be careful about that because the battery in here is expanding and that is a danger. To that end, follow this guide at your own risk. Realize you're taking apart a phone, you may break it, and if you have a swollen battery, you need to proceed with caution. Let's get started. Okay, so I have here the phone I intend to take apart, a heat gun, an iFixit kit that I own. This isn't sponsored or affiliated. In fact, I've had this thing for so long I need to replace some of the parts. They're just plain missing or broken in some cases, but should do the trick. So normally what you would actually start with is using the heat gun to heat up the back of the phone in order to loosen the glue, but the battery has been doing a good job of that already. So I'm just going to try and finish what the battery has started and see if I can't get it pulled apart the rest of the way. The battery's done a lot of the work for me, but there's still just a little bit left. I'll go ahead and pull these picks back out, so I don't want to melt them. Still pretty tight in there. And I think I got it. Now we'll begin looking at all the various screws in here and removing them. I can see underneath the frame it's connected somehow, and I don't want to pull too hard just yet. So I don't want to break it. Let's see if we can't get this frame up first. Yep, it's all part in one. Now it's time to tackle the battery. For this, we are not going to use metal at all because I'm afraid of piercing the battery. We're going to start by disconnecting it using this Lego style connector that's right here. And see if we can't, very carefully, it's glued in. There we go. Got the battery out. Look at how swollen that is. That is not supposed to be that shape or size. We will take this to a battery recycler. I see a connector here of some kind that we can disconnect, and some plastics here that look like they can come up. Let's see what we can find. Here is another connector as well. It would help if you removed your SIM card as well. And now we have the main motherboard with that OIS. I think that is soldered on and not coming off. Let's take a look. Because here's another Lego style connector. Oop, close to breaking things. And here's the camera. Here is our SD card, our USB-C daughter board. Front-facing cameras. What we may have to do is the most dangerous part of all. We might have to take the front off at this point and hope I don't break the glass. There we go. Managed to get it apart. Now to decide what to do with it. Okay, well the phone's all apart. I've got several different pieces I can work with, from cameras to front glass to back pieces. We'll look at iFixit for our labeling of everything just to make sure we get it right. But obviously the next step is I need some kind of frame. This would be the part where I go all YouTuber and insert a montage of me heading to the store, but I ordered something from Amazon. Now I specifically chose something pretty close to what Grid Studio uses here. Theirs is honestly a little bit nicer. For instance, I was able to take the glass out of this so you don't see reflections too much, and this one you can't do that for some dumb reason, but this should do. All I need to do is take the back piece off and start arranging the phone on it to kind of get an idea of what I want it to look like and how I want everything to be placed. So I've taken the backer out of that frame and I think we'll start arranging things. I won't put everything on here, like I don't think we need the heat wrap, for instance. It's just not a big deal to me. Main things I'm looking for are the back of the phone, the screen, these various mother and daughter board components I think would be important to have, along with the main camera, headphone jack. Here's another daughter board piece. I'm going to look up what that is before I decide to conclude it. We'll definitely want the USB-C daughter board. This is the fingerprint sensor. And then it's just a question of what else do I want to include. Obviously we want the front facing, and we probably want the SIM card tray. And I'm thinking the main frame of it as well, along with the wireless charging coil. But it's getting pretty full at that point, and I still have these two components here. I don't think they're important enough to worry about keeping. They're mostly more framework, and I think these are the main components that we're looking at. Alright, so off screen I rearranged everything and found a setup that I like. This may change a little here and there as I test things out, but from here what I'll do is take a full-size picture and import this into Illustrator so that I can create the words and designs. You don't necessarily need to do things in Illustrator, but using that is a way to avoid the fact that I don't have very good handwriting or physical artistry skills. So instead I can use this, and then I can take this file and import it into my Cricut machine and have it print out the words in a way that's clean and nice looking. Again, you don't need a Cricut, you don't need Illustrator. This isn't a tutorial on using either. If you are artistic already, you can just use your skills that way instead. This is just one way to get the job done. And the nice thing is, this route I can actually make more than one of these and not have to do all the work all over again. I'll have a repeatable file to use. Here's the final printout. Now, if you're a Patreon member, I'm gonna go ahead and make this free for you in case you wanna try this on your own. And let me know in the comments if you'd like me to take apart more phones and make more files available for your own use. And for that matter, if you've been watching this long, thank you so much. Would you consider subscribing to the channel? Next, I'm gonna spray adhesive this to the cardboard backer from the shadow box because I don't think this is strong enough to hold the parts on its own. And then I'm gonna glue the parts to this paper. I used hot glue to get this job done, but I don't recommend it because it ends up being very stringy. You should probably try a B5000 craft glue instead. That will do the trick and not have so much cleanup required. Alright then, this turned out really well. I'm really pleased. And again, I plan to release this graphic to my Patreon members so you can make your own if you want. And tell me in the comments below if there's a different phone that I should do this for. If you'd like to see me make a custom frame instead of buying a shadow box online, I can get into that and more. And in the meantime, if you want to see me try out Dorito's new noise canceling app that gets rid of the crunchy noises from chewing on chips, check out this video here. Until next time, goodbye.